name is Christopher Saunders, and this is a special edition of the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. As I'm pleased to have on the left-handed pitcher for East Catholic, Frank Mozzicato, who will be going to Uconn in the fall, but not before he continues to dominate as he has with East Catholic. Frank, thanks so much for being able to come on, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
First and foremost, before we get into baseball talk and all that, how's everything with you and your family during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Everything's doing well. We're staying safe. We all actually got our first dose of the vaccine within the last week. Got mine this morning, so that's good. How's everything with you and your family?
Not too bad, man. My family is basically all vaccinated. My dad has to get one more shot. I'm getting my first shot on Thursday. So, it took a lot of convincing. I was a little iffy on it, but I feel like, and I think you'll agree with me here. We're starting to, I think, slowly get back to normal with things.
Yeah, just step by step, day by day. It's not going to all come at once. We just got to be patient with it.
Exactly. And speaking of patience, I mean, for all of the Connecticut baseball, you missed your spring last year, which would have been your
Mhm.
junior year. I mean, just take me into what was your first reaction when you heard the news that last spring, your season was over before it even started?
It was like devastating, because we were looking forward to a great year. We had a great squad. And just like to them, like, I mean, I understand the decision, but like, not just to give us like the chance of even playing a couple games, just seeing how it went. It was definitely heartbreaking, and definitely wasn't the best spring I've had. So wasn't too hot.
Now, over the next about couple days, week to 2 weeks, did I can only imagine because I was actually doing a couple games up at Amherst. I was doing a baseball game and then a NCAA hockey game, a tournament game, and then I
Okay.
found out about everything closing. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The entire day before the announcements were made, it just felt weird, numb, eerie.
hmm
For you, did you feel that same way? Just tell me about that.
Well, yeah. So I was actually on the basketball team too, and we were number one in the state going into the playoffs, and there's like no state tournament anymore. And so the whole season was shut down, and then we were just like, okay, maybe they'll let baseball play. It's outside, less risk, right? And there was just kind of like no word from the CIAC at all throughout that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you just kind of knew something was up, and then you just completely just shut it down. And like I said earlier, it's definitely heartbreaking.
No, I didn't even know you played basketball. So that's kind of in some ways, at least you got to play a little bit. But like you said, you guys had a chance to be able to do something special on the basketball side. And for the season just to be canceled again, as far as, or not the season, but the tournament. I mean, did you guys have any inclination that there may have been a chance that something was going to happen while you guys were playing basketball?
So yeah, I mean, we were obviously, yeah, I mean, just as you said, we definitely thought we were going to still have that season, but
Mhm.
I mean, once basketball kind of canceled, we were just like, yeah, we don't know if anything's gonna. We have to pray, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So
Now, what did you do during the spring? Because I'm assuming you played summer baseball, correct?
yeah, so during the spring, I worked out. I kind of had like an extended off season, so I worked out 4 days, 5 days a week, and I would throw my pens on like once a week, and then have a midweek pen. But yeah, so then spring ball started pretty early, like which is pretty rare because obviously high school goes into spring ball. So yeah, summer ball started like early June, played all the way up into August. Then I went to a different team for the fall down south. So
Now, I had an opportunity to talk with a kid, or now an older man. He was drafted by the Mariners in 2015, Kyle Wilcox, played for Newtown, and like I mentioned, playing with the Mariners. And I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he told me that during the elongated offseason, he wanted to make sure he used every day to the best of his ability because there's not much else to do. And he found this coach who was able to help pitchers as far as his mechanics or their mechanics. And one thing led to another. He was able to really find himself as a pitcher. Now, the question I have for you is during the last spring and then leading into that summer, did you make sure that you used every single day? Because I know there's certain times being as young as you are where you can kind of doze off and be like, you know what, I'll just take it off for one day. It won't hurt.
yeah, definitely used every day to my advantage. Went to my pitching coach as often as I could to get my work in, just to touch up on little things. And Gyms were starting to close, so I had to find a way to work out at home, use things at home. Luckily, I had weights here at home, so I was able to get my lifts in. And my brother being home, I was able to throw with him and get our work done there in our backyard. So luckily for me, it was somewhat easy, but still a difficult time.
Was there anything in particular that you maybe felt like you were able to find, or I don't want to say discover, but you were able to work on more because there wasn't a season during the elongated off season for you?
Yeah, I was definitely able to focus more on my third pitch, my changeup with my brother in the backyard. Just him being a college pitcher right now at Central, that's it's one of his better pitches, and him just little critiques to it and helping me like always try and get better with it. That definitely helped, and he definitely made a big impact on my changeup.
Now, what was the difference between, because you talk about the impact that he made, what was he telling you to do to help improve that third pitch, especially because you may not need it as much in high school? I mean, you didn't need it in your 16 strikeout first start of the season, but when you go to pitch for UConn and you're pitching in the Big East and you're facing these big time power programs, you're going to need that changeup.
Yeah, so he just always told me like lighten it up, keep it as loose as possible, act like you're holding an egg, you know. So and reach with it. Don't like turn over the ball. Keep your wrist square. So and he's like, you don't necessarily even need to throw it for a strike. You can throw it for a ball. It's just like an eye test kind of to the hitter, and then you can work from there. So he definitely helped me and taught me a lot through that break of the spring when we didn't have our season.
Now, what was the difference in your changeup from before you had the catch with your brother and then what he was telling you along the way?
Just like my confidence with it. So being able to throw it for a strike if I wanted to, being able to throw in any count, no matter if it's 2-0 or 0-2 or 3-1, 1-2. Him just always like it, like day by day, just helping me increase my confidence with it, and just little critiques would help big time. So I'm able to use it in any situation.
Have you been able to, and I know you haven't thrown it much because obviously just your first start, but have you worked on as far as in bullpens and then just throwing, making sure that the changeup and the fastball are coming from the same plane, making sure that tunnel, because as you know, as you get older, the hitters are going to
Mm.
figure out if the changeup is here and then your fastball is there.
Yeah. So fortunately for me, this past winter during my pens, the place I threw my pens at and worked out at. There was a couple pro guys, former East Catholic grad Jimmy Titus, who went to Bryant and now for the Dodgers, and he went to Central. I don't know where he went to high school, but TT Bowens. I was able to throw my live pens to them indoors, and I obviously have to have a changeup with them because they'll hit anything, especially because they're pro guys. So they would also help me. Like I'm like, what did I do wrong here? And they just be like, just throw it like your fastball, throw it in the same like arm slot and stuff. So those two guys helped me a lot, along with a pitcher for the Orioles who went to A1 Old Farms and Duke, Thomas Gerard. He helped me big time with it as well.
So how was it? And you said you faced TT and Titus, correct?
Yes, I faced TT
How
Titus.
how, how was it facing those guys? Because I know I'm sure you probably, I don't know if you were nervous, but I can imagine when you're going up against guys who are in the pros, the first thing is you just want to huck it as hard as you can. So how did you kind of how was that?
And it was definitely difficult. Those are two guys that are really hard to pitch to because their swings are just so compact and they know how to get to every pitch. So me and my catcher, we would just work on like you gotta hit your spot. So like start away, then work yourself in and mix it up, and just don't change anything with your mechanics. Just keep everything the same. And it's not going to be easy to get these guys out, but just work at it and you'll get there. So it was definitely a big help this off season to prepare me for high school.
Now be honest with me. How many times did you make them look foolish?
A couple, just a couple.
On what pitches?
Mostly the curveball.
Okay, I kind of figure that because that's your second best pitch, even
Yeah,
though you could, get it up to 90 to 93. I mean, that's pretty good, man.
thank you.
Now, as far as, are you a big believer in, as far as like the medicine balls, you think about the weighted balls, all that kind of stuff? Drive line is really big on using all, basically hucking as hard as you can from a short distance. Is that something that you've really been getting into or have been in the past?
Slowly, not in a way I have been. So like I use these, I call them green balls. They're 1 pound balls. Like it's like a sand ball, and it's a band workout, but it opens up like more spots in your shoulder to get loose. And then I'll use like two weighted balls just to get my fingers on top of the baseball and just kind of like make sure my throwing's down. So if you use different weights and you can throw downhill with it, you should be able to throw downhill with the same weight as a fastball or as a regular 5-ounce baseball. So I've been slowly getting to it, not much really, because I'm still young, so definitely don't want to get into it too much right now.
Has anybody ever come up to you and said, "Hey, maybe you should use these weighted balls?" Because because I'm sure you know people or see people who do use them. Have you ever been tempted to kind of steer that way, or is it where you just stay on that path that you're on right now?
Yeah, I kind of stay on the path. I mean, like every once in a while, they'll ask like, "Oh, do you drive line?" I'm like, "Not really." It's like kind of like something like smaller than that. It's not even drive line. I don't even say that. But no, nobody really kind of like peer pressures me into it. So
Mhm. Now, are you somebody that, again, because with analytics being the way they are, and you have Rapsodo, you can measure spin rate, pitch movement, the whole nine. Are you one of those players that is really fine to or trying to find out, oh, what was my spin rate on my fastball? Are you just somebody I could, yeah, I just saw you
yeah,
shaking.
no,
Like,
I
I
don't.
just
I
want the
don't.
ball, and here we go.
Yeah, I don't really care about all that stuff. I mean, it'll come into play later on in my career, but right now, just you gotta focus on like the little things such as like your mechanics and being able to throw any pitch in any count. So those are the things that I'm not really worried about my spin rate and my vertical axis and all that other stuff.
See, I wish more players were like that because, at the younger ages, I could understand college and JUCO, but when I talk to players at all levels, I never hear more about analytics than and you may be surprised. I hear it from the younger crowd. They're so into it, but I feel
Mhm.
like the way the game is at that level, at the high school level, the analytics are good, but let your natural talents and just let
Mhm.
your ability show.
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially at this age, high school level. I mean, the top of the guys in the country, they'll do it because they're the top guys in the country and they're gonna be making lots of money one day. But I mean, I just think right now it's just baseball's such a mental game. The more you think about your spin rate or how hard you're throwing and all those numbers, I feel like the more it's gonna mess with you on the mound and not gonna give you your best performance. So
And
I
especially
just try.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like, especially too, I'm lefty, you're lefty. We have enough problems at it, as is, 'cause we're already quirky as, it is.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to UConn in the fall, and
Mhm.
just kind of how how was the recruitment? Because I know UConn over the last few years has been getting a lot of players from Connecticut, and they always have been. But I feel like over the last couple, they've really been getting a lot more. So kind of just take me into how Coach Penders, Coach Mack, all those guys, how did they recruit you?
So it was my sophomore year. And so Coach Penders, I believe, only saw me like one time throughout my high school season. And actually, my catcher is his son, Hank Penders. So he comes, well, he's obviously my catcher. So when Hank caught my sophomore year, he would come and watch, and I pitched one of the games, and he saw me then. And then Coach McDonald saw me at a PBR showcase just at the end of my sophomore year, and then the next day they offered me. So, and I always wanted to go to UConn.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it helps that his son is the catcher. And you know what? I
Yeah.
kind of thought that, but then I kind of think like, maybe it's just the last name. Everybody has same whatever. But that's pretty cool that you grew up basically with his son, and one thing led to another, and you basically had an in before you even really knew.
Yeah, in a way, and me and Hank always joke around about it. He's like, "Yeah, you know, I got you in and stuff," and we always just kind of joke around with each other about it. So it's pretty cool.
Now, have you been able to throw with just I don't know if it's allowed to, but as far as Coach Mack, has he been able to watch you one on one, or is it just the games that he's been able to watch you?
Yeah, so well, the NCAA hasn't let college coaches come watch high school players for like the last year almost. It seems like. So no, I'm guessing he's seen video of me out on the internet and stuff. But since NCAA shut down, it's kind of hard for college coaches to come watch their players or go recruit right now. So he hasn't. Not that I'm aware of.
Are they allowed to talk to you or no?
Yeah. So after your junior year, they can reach out whenever and stuff, which is pretty cool. So stay in touch. I was just talking to him yesterday, so it's pretty cool.
So how's the conversations been like with Mac? Because I've only talked to him a couple of times when I was broadcasting for the Blues, and we had a number of players. One of them being Garrett Coe, who's from the Gunnery, and he's pitching, and he actually struck out a kid that he played with, Austin White, from Rhode Island, who URI, which he's
Mhm.
Austin White has probably the best eye that I've ever seen. And when he struck him out, I was like, wow, okay, that's you never see that. But just how was the conversations like with Coach Mac?
They're great. He's really good at what he does, and it's always just it's not always about baseball. It's just like, hey, how's everything going? Like, how's school? Make sure you're keeping up with the grades. Just like, how's the family doing? Like, always reach out to me if you need anything. And all the coaches do that, which is really nice. And they make you feel like a family, which is cool.
Do you feel like too that because you committed, it almost feels like, again, to go back to my conversation I had with Kyle Wilcox, that once he was drafted, he felt like the pressure was finally off. Because up in, as he was pitching through up until he was drafted, he felt like every time he appeared on the bump or made a start or whatever, that there was pressure because he had to make sure if he wasn't at the top of his game, he could slide 4, 5, 6 rounds. You just never know, especially the way the draft is. So do you feel like because you committed, now it's like, all right, I know where I'm going. Now I can just enjoy playing my senior year.
Yeah, and it's really nice that since I, committed my sophomore year, so my sophomore summer, my junior summer, and now my senior year, it's just kind of all been like just kind of doing it, not really worrying about like where am I going to go to college and stuff. So I've been really fortunate enough to just be able to go do my thing and not really worry about any outside things.
No, that's really good, man. Now, looking at the overall season of this year, now going into it, when you found out the news that the CIC said there will be a spring and there's even potential of there being not just a elongated full schedule, a normal schedule, but there could be a chance for a state tournament. That had to make you and the rest of your East Catholic team ecstatic.
Yeah, we were super pumped. I can like remember the day like it was yesterday. We were all just texting in our group chat. We all worked so hard in the off season preparing for the season too, and we're gonna have a good shot. But there's gonna be some good teams that we face along the way, and then if we lose, and we lose in the regular season, it's just a learning spot. But we're really solid. We got a lot of good guys, mostly senior filled. We have like we really only have two returning players. Um, Ryan Shaw, who's committed to UMass Boston. He's our second baseman and our four hitter. And then me, but we have a shortstop, Alex Irizarry, who's going to Maryland. Hank Penders, who's going to Eastern Connecticut. So we're looking solid, but just still got to get better every day, and hopefully the cases go down so we can have a state tournament.
Now, just hearing about all of the players that you just mentioned that are going to like Maryland and Eastern and all that, it just do you ever kind of go to practice either from your sophomore year with the players you were around, and then obviously now and such where you look at to your left and to your right and you're like, I'm around all these talented players. Like this
Yeah.
is something that not a lot of players are able to be around.
Yeah, it's crazy because 13 of our guys are committed.
Wow.
We have 13 guys committed, and it's really amazing because you look at every position, and he's like, oh, he's committed, he's committed, he's committed. So it's just a really cool environment with all the guys, and we just play with like to have fun, nothing really else. And Coach Fiore does a great job of getting you where you need to be and always being there no matter what the situation is, and if you need any help with colleges and stuff like that. So he does a great job, and he's going to lead us to big things this year.
I feel like too, it also helps because, with all the amount of talent that you're seeing, but with practice and such, and even some of the teams that you play that when they come see you, they want to make sure that they're on their A game. You kind of know where you stand for when you do play at the next level, regardless of where you play.
Yeah, so that definitely helps knowing where I'm going next year, not really have to worry about the guy who's in front of me, and get just try and get him out one at a time. So I'm not really worried about like I said earlier, the outside stuff, as I would say.
Now, yesterday you pitched at 16 Ks and such. Before we talk about that start, kind of just were you, because I haven't seen you pitch. I really, this is the first time I've been able to talk to you, and I appreciate you
Mhm.
coming on. How was it like the build up coming into yesterday? Because I can imagine you haven't pitched since your sophomore year as far as East Catholic is concerned, because you
Mhm.
missed last year because of COVID. So what was it like? I mean, were you giddy? Were you excited? Were you kind of even keeled? Just tell me about that.
Yeah, so we actually got 4 practices in, and then
Mm.
East Catholic shut down for like a week and a half.
Oh, wow.
So all the guys had to do our at-home workouts that Coach Fiore sent us, and like I said earlier, he does a great job of communicating with us and telling us what we need to do. So we were able to get 10 practices in, and it was probably the longest week I've had in my life. Just waiting for that Monday game and getting ready to go out on the bump. So I don't know if I was nervous, maybe a little bit, but I was just more excited and just to be out there with all the guys and just have fun.
And once you stepped on the mound, and was it kind of like, all right, I'm home. I'm back in my office again.
Yeah, it was just kind of like here I am. Let's do it. This is what I look forward to every day. So it was one of those things. Yeah, it was definitely an awesome feeling.
Now, give me an honest scouting report on yourself post start. I know you had the 16 Ks. I know we talked about how you only had a couple Ks on the changeup. It was mainly the fastball that got you going and such. Give me an honest opinion about how you pitched.
Um, to me, I don't know if I pitched that good. I'll say I did pretty good. I had to cut down on the walks. I had 4 walks. One of them I started a guy 0-2 and I walked him, which is not good. I did good though. I threw strikes, which is good, but definitely got to cut down on the walks and I got to field my position better.
Mm.
So there's always stuff to work on, and that's what we look for as a team. What can we work on to get better every day? So
Now, going into your next start, now you talk about the things that you want to improve on. Is there anything in particular, or is there a couple things that you are going to make sure that you are ready for going into your next start?
yeah, just focus up on not walking 4 guys. Making sure on those 3-2 counts, I'm really trying to focus in and let them hit the ball. Let our defense make a play because our defense is just really good this year. Not many errors will be made by us, so I just gotta trust the guys behind me to make that play and make sure I get ahead early. Make sure I get 0-1, maybe 1-1, 0-2, that type of thing. So it takes less stress off the later pitches in the at bat.
I mean, I would love to pitch behind a defense where it's like Division 1 there, Division 1 there, high Division 3 there. I mean, that's again,
Yeah.
that must be another thing for you psychologically to where it's like, okay, even if you don't have your best stuff, and at some points you won't. All
Yeah.
starting pitchers are like that. I mean, I remember as a young kid, I was talking to a player on my Waterbury Legion team. I was a first year player. I was playing with a bunch like yourself at East Catholic, where it was all Division 1 guys. And he told me at it, and I still remember to this day where he said, you're going to have about 5 starts where you're going to feel great. Your stuff is going to be on point. And then the rest of it is going to be, you know what? And you got to figure out how to get out of that pile of poo and find your.
Hmm.
So for you to have that defense behind you, it must give you even another form of confidence.
Yeah, 100%. Knowing I got one of the best defenses in the state behind me is definitely a big confidence boost. And knowing I have Hank behind the dish catching me, which he's been catching me since freshman year, is definitely another confidence booster because I know I can throw anything to him, and he'll block it, he'll catch it. So it's definitely a big confidence booster, which helps even the rest of our pitchers. Pound the zone, let our infielders make the plays, let our outfielders make plays because they're going to do it, and it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So it's definitely a big confidence boost.
Frank, I really do appreciate you coming on. It was great to be able to have you on, and congratulations on being able I know it was your sophomore year, so I'm a little bit late, but congratulations on going to Uconn and
Thank you, thank
heck
you.
of heck of a first start as well. And hopefully you can continue success, and hopefully I can find an opportunity to be able to watch you pitch down the road, or if anything, in the state tournament.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent, and I'm on a journey to find them all. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.